Hi, welcome back to my greenhouse. My name is Christopher, as always. So, spring is finally here, well, at least inside. We have some spring outside, but it actually was snowing just an hour ago. So, we're not nearly close to anything that looks like outside planting time. There's still quite decent night frost, so it's going slow outside. But inside in the greenhouse, thanks to all of my creations this winter, I have been able to successfully keep this greenhouse above freezing this whole winter. And as you can see, my cherry trees, just look at my babies. Oh, and they're full of cherries. So I've been pollinating for, well, I would say 3 weeks ago. I went through and I did all the pollinating. I don't know where it's at, but I had a small pencil brush and I went from this to this to this to this, back and forth between the two different varieties of cherries that I have. This is a Van and this is a Stella, and they need to be cross-pollinated. Well, at least the Van needs to be cross-pollinated. And somehow it seems to be really working well because there is so many cherries. I'm gonna show you. But first, I just wanted to make this video because now it is time for me to finally unveil the greenhouse. As you can see, I've been placing bubble wrap I've been total wrapping of the greenhouse inside. And I did that as an experiment because last year I only wanted to keep my fig tree inside a small enclosure to make sure that it wasn't freezing. But this year I wanted to do an experiment to see if I could kind of keep the whole greenhouse at a steady temperature. And that's of course the year where the weather decided to be colder than I've ever experienced. So I think we had about 40 days straight with minus 20 degrees or something crazy, minus 15 and colder. And I was just thinking that the whole thing was lost, to be honest. My cherry trees, I expected to survive because they can also survive outside here, but they will not thrive and they will not produce any fruits outside. But I was expecting those to survive, but I wasn't sure about my figs and my blueberries and I have a grapevine and my rosemary bush and some other things. But it seems to go pretty well, and that is thanks to the way that I really made sure that I covered everything in bubble wrap, and I also got this beautiful lifesaver. It was sent to me by BioGreen, I have to say that. It's the Phoenix air heater, and I'm gonna take it down and I'm gonna show you the functions of it. And this has really been a lifesaver because, as you know, this is a geothermal greenhouse. But once the temperatures go so far below zero outside, there is just no way that with this construction, this is just a simple greenhouse, practically speaking, and with just a simple layer of insulation and also the warmer air from the soil is not nearly enough to keep this above freezing the whole winter. The temperatures down at the base, so my pipes are at 2 meters below the soil level here, and the temperatures down there go to below 4 degrees Celsius in winter time. Outside it goes to below, it actually goes down to about 1 degree Celsius or close to freezing. So that's what you get for living this far north as we do. We don't have that decent soil temperature that others are speaking of. When I see people making geothermal setups in America or somewhere else, they are almost always located where the soil temperature 2 meters below is higher than what we get here, so they get more efficiency out of the system. But I don't get that, so I need to supplement with heating. And I have been using this. This is a 2800 watt heating system, and I have a separate cable for it all the way into the garage, so I was making sure that I had enough power for it. And yeah, it's really been a lifesaver. And since this is something I always been using, those simpler ones that you can have on the ground and they will just spread from the ground. But this one is really nice that you can keep it hanging. It has fixtures and it also has these hanging wires or whatever it's called. And that is super nice. So you can just place it wherever you want it, and it will blow. It blows decent. So when I turn it on, it blows this way, and it kind of follows the geothermal air. So it's been keeping my plants alive, and I had a record early flowering on my trees. As I said, they started flowering about a month ago, and the warmest places in Norway haven't ever really been able to start flowering yet. So yeah, I'm at least a month in front of everything else commercially grown in this country when it comes to cherries. So it is kind of weird to be able to do that here in the mountain regions where we live, where it's really cold. But yeah, this is what you get when you throw enough money and hours at the problem. Then you might be able to do almost whatever. So and also my fig is coming back out, and I already counted 30 figs forming. So yeah, I am super satisfied with that. The bubble wrap that I used is 1.5 meters by 100 meters or something, and I just rolled it out. It's a single layer. The bubbles are 25 millimeters, and I was going back and forth on how to fix it to the greenhouse without doing a lot of damage to it and too much work getting it up and down. So I was just thinking that it would be nice, because there is some shelves you can get for this type of greenhouse and everything, and that has a screw with a twisting mechanism at the end, a twisting head. So you will just paste it or put it into the channels and twist it, and then you can screw into it. So I was thinking that we're going to need something like that, and I was looking online, and there were some sort of systems for it, but they cost a lot, and I wasn't able to get it here in Norway. So what I did was I just went into Fusion 360 and I designed some myself, and I 3D printed a bunch of these, and none of them broke this winter. Not a single one broke. So that has to be something that was okay, I guess. And the thing is that it's just a simple. I'm gonna show you also closer, but the autofocus on this camera is horrible, so I'm just gonna stay here. It's just what is it called? Oh, you know what it's at. It's a washer. I think it's a washer. And you just have this one, and you put it into this, put it in, turn, and it's just stuck. So the bubble wrap sits nicely flush to the profile of the greenhouse. And in the roof, I also had to do some other finagling with it, but it was a lot of work, and I am not sure I'm going to do the same thing next year. I was hoping that I could keep some of my peppers to make them over winter, but it turns out that's just not possible. They just rotted. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I think the humidity and the being such a closed, when you seal up the greenhouse like this, it's really airtight. So it's not a good environment for peppers, it turns out. So, yeah, lesson learned. I'm not going to do that next year, but I'm thinking of maybe cutting it off about this point and just have this section partially heated, and that way I can do much more with only the geothermal system. But I of course will have my my BioGreen fan available in that space, and it will be temperature controlled. So you could temperature control it on the device, or what I'm going to do is to just program the whole thing and make it turn on and off based on the automatic system that I have for the geothermal system. So yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out, and I'm getting fruits this year. And it's the first time that I've actually gotten 3 cherries for the last 2 seasons total. So this time I'm getting maybe hundreds, it looks like. So I'm really happy with that. But I'm gonna show you these clamps and how they work, and if this is something that you want to try or print yourself, and if you have some sort of similar greenhouse. I think this is a really common way those things work on greenhouses. So I don't think it's just this greenhouse that has a functionality for that. So if it's something you need, just tell me in the comments, and I'll put it up on Thingiverse or something. Then you can just print them. They're actually super nice. It's those small, simple things that you make. Like for instance, the pegs that I use for my watering system. All of these things are things that you can of course buy, but the thing is that it costs and it takes time, and you have to wait for the shipping, and you have to declare it, and there's just so much hassle with everything. And when you have a 3D printer and you use a little bit of imagination, you can really make whatever you really need for this. I'm printing everything in here, and as long as you use decent plastic and you design it with the intention of lasting, then yeah, it's I'm gonna pick that up. It's a phenomenal tool. So yeah, I'm gonna take down the fan, and let's just take a quick look at it. I was looking for, when I started this season, I was looking for a fan to use like this, and I came across this fan, and it was perfect for my use case. And I reached out to them and asked them if they wanted to make me test, have me test one, and they were super nice and wanted me to try one. And I have to say I am super happy. Without this one, if I used the old one that I had, the 2 kilowatts, I wouldn't at all have kept my fig tree and some of my at least one of my lemon trees are also surviving here, and that wouldn't have happened without this fan for sure. So I'm gonna take down the camera and show you, but first I'm just gonna show you this one. I haven't used this far because the use case that I had was I wanted to keep something blowing at my trees in the back, because that was my main focus. But this one is super nice. It's an extension that you will clip onto the front of the light, and you will hang this also in the ceiling all the way over, and it has these ventilation holes, so the air will go down. It blows through the end. So for instance, now I'm moving all my peppers outside. I'm gonna do that tomorrow or something. And my concern is that if I just have a fan in one end, I'm gonna heat up some of the plants, and the other ones will suffer at night, because there's still in the forecast really cold nights. So I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna hang it over this bed, and it will just pump out air on the places all over this bed. Just direct pointing, and that's just fantastic. Those kind of accessories are really the accessories that makes the tool work in so many different scenarios. So yeah, really props for them for sending me this and having me test this. So I'm gonna give you feedback on that once I get my pepper bed started. Okay, just let me grab the camera. This is the fan closer up, and as you can see, there are 2 different ways to use this. You can use it manually, just the way I have been using it. Just you turn it on at the settings you want, and it turns off only when you shut it off. Or you can use the automatic temperature control, and that way you can adjust when you want it to cut off or get back on. And that way you could use this as a freeze safety or something like that in a smaller greenhouse. For me, I have been just mainly using 2 of these settings just to be able to keep it running for a longer period. Then I've been just walking in here and turning it off or changing the settings based on the weather outside. So you can choose either way. It has 5 settings off, and you have only fan blowing. You have 1000 watts, 1800 watts, or 2800 watts. I have been mainly using the 1800 and 2800 watts, and that's just because of the sheer size of the greenhouse. It is a huge greenhouse, and almost all the fans that you see on the market are close to 2000 watts maximum, and that's when you often when you move past 2000 watts, you will get into the area where your cables are not strong or don't have enough capacity, and also your electrical system turns out you can get some troubles with that. So I had a decent cable setup on a decent safety switch, and I've been able to pull out 2800 watts from this setup, and that really puts it over the edge for my case, because I give it an advantage compared to other fans, because I really needed those extra watts to be able to heat this up, and also to have a really decent fan blowing industrial design. It is super rigid, and it blows the air quite far, so you don't need to worry about circulating the air once you set it up and have it blowing. For me, this one will blow the air all around the greenhouse, so that is really sufficient, and just all around great product. I love it, and I'm going to use it next year and the year after, and as long as you also get it up from the ground, you don't have the same issues with water and splashes and the moisture from the soil. So it is an all-round perfect fan, I would say, and I'll keep some links in the description if you want to check it out. Tell them I sent you. It is a good company. I like it. I'm gonna look into more of the products that they have. I have been watching their website, and they have so many different tools and things that are neat to have in a greenhouse like this. So yeah, I encourage you to check it out. I just wanted to show you these clips. These are the simple clips that I made, and I can bring you over. Let me just bring you over. So the way these works is that you just clip on the washer, and then you put it into the profile and squeeze the bubble wrap and turn, twist, whatever it's called, and it's just a neat thing. It has been keeping the bubble wrap tight to this greenhouse for the whole winter, and it has been blowing like crazy for periods. So it turns out that it's it was a first try project, and yeah, you never get those. But yeah, neat thing. I'm going to leave you with a shot from the cherry tree, and as you can see, there is a lot of cherries forming, and I am so excited about this. It's the first time for me getting a decent harvest, and it's gonna be fun comes June or maybe early July when we can start harvesting these. And hopefully I can get the spider mites to keep away from this tree this year. Not sure if I can make that, but I'm gonna try, and hopefully we will get a good harvest. So yeah, this is Christopher saying may the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!